assume all you guys are Jane the Virgin fans. Can we talk about the finale?
Good afternoon, everyone. On this Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, I've got all the news you need for your rush hour ride home. Tennessee is bracing for a once-in-a-century blizzard this week, but in the world of Baldoni versus Blake Lively, it's a different kind of storm, a tornado of celebrity tea. So many stars are getting pulled into this drama. It's absolutely insane. We've got the birthing video that exonerates Justin Baldoni, and it's a stark reminder: if you lie about one thing, your credibility on everything else crumbles. Blake Lively continues to be exposed across multiple live appearances, and the surprising center of it all, Taylor Swift, while she may simply be supporting a friend, the question remains: has she crossed a line, and is she, in any way, taking advantage of? But honestly, I never thought in 2026 I'd be suggesting that Taylor Swift might be involved in a form of abuse, but here we are, and it's fascinating to watch unfold. Later in the episode, we'll cover Donald Trump speaking at Davos, where he confusingly mixes up Greenland and Iceland, debating which territory he wants to invade, while I, too, sometimes get the two countries confused. I'm not plotting a territorial takeover, but we'll break down that story and more as the show continues. Stick around for the hospital scene, a never-before-seen cut that paints Blake Lively as an undeniable liar. And just when you think it couldn't get more intense, Taylor Swift is set to be called as a hostile witness in the trial. This is a PR nightmare for her, and it highlights why celebrities must be cautious about the people and causes they associate with. Initially, they tried to work with Taylor to avoid a deposition, but leaked information allegedly from her father suggested she might have been manipulated or pressured by Blake. Whether or not her father knew the full truth, it's now clear the legal team has no choice but to call her to testify. Expect a lot of glitter in that New York City courthouse. Meanwhile, I want to share some text messages between Blake and Taylor, reported by Page 6, which add even more fuel to this already explosive story. Here's the exchange between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Blake reaches out first. "Hey, checking in. I have no reason to ask, but I don't know. I've been feeling like I should. Is everything okay? I've felt like a bad friend lately because I was such a sad sack, talking only about my own stuff for months. And we've all been ghosted before. We've all been softly ghosted by a friend. I just wanted to check in." Taylor's reaction: let's just say she's not thrilled. Blake continues: "I always want the opportunity to be a better friend if I unintentionally did something. I know how busy and taxed you are physically, emotionally, practically, so I don't expect anything more from you ever." Imagine being Taylor Swift in that moment. You just performed a 3.5-hour stadium tour in front of 90,000 fans. You're peeling off your fake eyelashes and bronzer, trying to catch a moment with your boyfriend Travis Kelce, and then here comes Blake, basically turning your phone into a boardroom memo. Taylor responds politely: "No, you're not wrong, but it's also not a big deal." That's the classic sign of a friendship running out of steam. It's not a big deal. It's you, not me. She goes on: "There's been a lot of Justin stuff, but I've been through situations like this before, and I know how hour-consuming it is. I feel bad saying anything because your texts are so well-intentioned, but your last few felt like I was reading a corporate email sent to 200 employees. You said we're like 18 times. I feel distant from you, even more than we are geographically, and I miss my funny, dark, normal friend who talks to me as herself, not as a group unit." In this exchange, Taylor comes off as thoughtful and grounded. She's clearly trying to maintain a friendship, and this actually doesn't make her look bad. The bigger issues are the accusations about Blake that have been circulating. Meanwhile, more heartbreaking texts are emerging from Justin Baldoni. In these, he explains how Blake's influence over the film's editing changed key moments. They removed the first kiss scene and replaced it with a weaker version, chose the wrong montage shots, omitted moments showing abuse, and even cut scenes like really asking what he would do if he had a daughter, all to accommodate Blake's preferences. This situation is beyond frustrating. Justin Baldoni recounts: "You want to call me?" And his response is classic: "I'm in bed. It's 3 a.m. Literally nothing I asked for was done. There's no story, no abuse." She removed Ryle's dialogue, added more shots of herself that don't move the story forward. This isn't a Blake Lively sizzle reel, it's a movie. This is exactly why actors shouldn't be allowed to control the editing. Justin explains: "You need to show the tension. You need to show the abuse. This isn't a love story or a rom-com starring Blake Lively. It's a serious film." Despite his frustration, Justin keeps his cool, reflecting his Baha'i faith. He admits, "I'm starting to get angry," but also notes, as a father to a 20-month-old who doesn't yet understand emotions, he wants to model patience. "I can't wait until I can explain to my son that sometimes anger exists, but it doesn't have to lead to yelling. I need to shape up." He continues, "I'm not going to email back in the heat of frustration because it will spiral. I've spent 4 years on this film. I chose Sony. We're the lead finance. This has to end. Let's talk tomorrow." He insists that communication be clear. "Email her this isn't approved." Baldoni is facing the reality of being removed from the trailer of his own film, a project he spent half a decade building. Jaime Heath responds with a note of perspective. This is actually healthy communication that are expressing their feelings, discussing frustration, and trying to solve a real problem, which is exactly what you want from collaborative leadership. Jamie emphasizes the bigger picture. No one can control Blake. Her lawyers, managers, agents, none of them can control her. We are all in bed with a monster, and everyone is trying to navigate it, he explains. It's not about having or lacking courage. It's about dealing with someone completely unpredictable. Justin's determination is clear. He says, one look or a thrown phone will have backlash. Every shot of Ryle has been shortened. You literally told me to grow balls. The conversation shifts to what it means to stand up for oneself when it's healthy to grow balls and when it's not. Ultimately, Justin refuses to compromise his vision. I will not let this happen anymore. She will not change my film. He asserts that the trailer is not approved, and if Sony won't stand up to Blake, they can miss their release date. We've bent over backwards too long, Justin says. He lays out a clear game plan, threaten to walk away, set a precedent, and make sure the trailer reflects the film as intended. Little by little, they begin to strip away Blake's options. A narcissist's worst fear is being disliked and having everyone see the truth about themselves. Calls go out to agents and managers. Blake is sabotaging her own reputation. Todd steps in. Sony is trying to police Blake, but they also have to consider Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck, Bradley Cooper, and others who are on Blake's side. Finally, Jamie calls it a night. We've got to go to bed. The conversation pauses there. The following day, Justin, fresh out of therapy, reflects on everything with a mix of exhaustion and determination, ready to keep fighting for the film he built and the story he wants to tell. It's exhausting to get all this out, and there's so much fear tied up in it. Fear of Blake going public, claiming Justin is a bad person, unsafe, not who he says he is. There's also deep self-hatred for past mistakes, for the little boy who messed up friendships by saying the wrong thing, and for the pain of losing people who mattered, like a best friend taken away by a parent who judged him. If no one likes you or thinks you're a good influence, it can feel like you have nothing to offer the world. And for Justin, that pain is intertwined with his own growth and reflection. He reflects on the universal struggle of regret. We all carry sorrow for the younger versions of ourselves. There's always a version of us we wish we could defend, improve, or protect. But the point of life is growth, not perfection. Justin acknowledges that he's not perfect, hasn't been perfect, and won't be perfect, but what matters is the mindset to be better today than yesterday. That willingness to grow, rather than the impossible pursuit of perfection, is what counts. Justin admits that running the set while feeling scared and threatened is challenging and frustrating for everyone around him. And he asks for grace. He's doing his best, but the stress triggers his deepest fears. The takeaway here is crucial. When people are overwhelmed and trying to give their best, it's important to recognize their effort, even if the results aren't perfect. Meanwhile, the conflict over the film continues. Approving trailers feels too intense, but Justin is steadfast. He will not compromise his vision. The situation raises questions about why so many cast members appear to have aligned with Blake Lively, even unfollowing Justin. It comes down to leverage and influence. Isabel Farah, who played Blake's younger self, remained loyal to Blake. Despite earlier texts showing her support for Justin, she praised working with him, but Blake leveraged her loyalty to advance her own agenda. One key point is the introducing credit, a rare honor in the history of Columbia Pictures. Given only 6 times in 100 years, title cards are more than just labels. They reflect hierarchy and prestige. Blake tried to use her influence to secure Isabel Farah the introducing card, even though her role was minor. It's a symbolic move that shows how power and ego operate behind the scenes in Hollywood. Blake's influence doesn't stop there. Producers and executives like Alex Saxes, Todd Black, and Brandon Skleiner are also tightly wrapped around her finger, making it clear she wields significant control over the production. Isabel is loyal, but not as overtly. This tangled web of influence, loyalty, and power demonstrates why Justin's fight to maintain his creative vision has been so exhausting and emotionally charged. And while all this unfolds, Taylor Swift continues to make headlines. She's now the youngest songwriter nominated to the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Wonders if her upcoming legal appearance as a hostile witness will inspire another song reflecting her tangled involvement in this saga. Brandon is about to blow up over all this, and Blake Lively is probably thrilled. Meanwhile, Alex Axe recounts a dinner party with Blake, Brandon, Isabel, and a few others, including Vivian Baker, Blake's makeup artist, her hairstylist, Jennifer, and Ryan Reynolds' mum, where the conversation largely revolved around trash-talking Justin Baldoni. Clearly, something about Baldoni as a director rubbed them the wrong way, and it seems that, in this inner circle, Blake was the one everyone was backing. It's the classic dynamic. A boss wants someone disparaged, and the team obliges, happy to follow as long as their check's clear. Whether Blake was personally triggered by Baldoni, maybe he reminded her of someone, or brought up old feelings, is anyone's guess. The birthing scene provides another layer of context. Raw footage shows the time code, the scene designation, and coverage type. Baldoni's close-ups dominate the scene, tracking his perspective. Blake is wearing a prosthetic belly and high-waisted black shorts, not the nude attire she later implied. The footage demonstrates that her modesty was largely protected, falling under profile nudity, which doesn't legally require an intimacy coordinator. While she later claimed discomfort from sitting in stirrups for hours without a blanket, she did not raise any objections at the time. This distinction between a true infraction and a minor production oversight will likely be key for the jury. Sony executives also weighed in on Blake's handling of the situation. On August 11, 2024, Tara Grant, Executive VP and Chief Communications Officer at Sony, described Blake as epically stupid for orchestrating drama in an amateur way, threatening the studio, and then being angry when it backfired all months before major media coverage. On August 15th, CEO Todd Rothman noted that while Blake didn't deserve all the backlash, she brought much of it on herself by refusing advice. By August 21st, Sony President Sanford Panich observed that if she had simply allowed Justin to attend the premiere, kept the cast united, or acted in line with long-standing show business norms, the chaos could have been avoided. This is why Blake Lively faced intense internet criticism. Initially, fans defended her, assuming Baldoni must have been difficult, but as more evidence of Blake's behavior emerged, the trailer manipulation, cast influence, and behind-the-scenes control, the narrative shifted. The set's dysfunction became public knowledge, and people began to see the full picture. Meanwhile, the community around this saga continues to add humor to the tension. Reddit users created satirical content, including a fake Rush Hour podcast book described as free-range, unprocessed, and 100% organic. The engagement shows how invested audiences are in the story, combining gossip, drama, and levity. On a final note, the Rush Hour podcast is going on tour, with dates planned for Asheville, North Carolina, Boston, Connecticut, and potentially Philadelphia. Fans are encouraged to subscribe and follow on Instagram for updates, keeping them connected to the latest revelations and commentary on the Baldoni Lively saga. Once I get all those updates, I'll bring them to you. For now, let's take a quick break because we still have a lot more to cover. Coming up next, Donald Trump has a full meltdown while talking about NATO in front of world leaders. Yeah, it's exactly as wild as it sounds. It's a new year, so make it a new you and elevate your at-home routine with Wayfair. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair is your one-stop shop for all things home. I'm currently sprucing up my home studio with new lounge chairs, accent pillows, and plants, and their massive selection makes it easy to find exactly what fits your vibe. We were also shopping for an arts and crafts table for the toddler, but needed something versatile enough for entertaining guests, so we picked up an extendable dining table that goes from 45 to 105 inches. It even has a hidden storage compartment for his Legos, so we can keep that mid-century modern look without breaking the bank. Get creative, get organized, and refresh your space this new year for way less. Head to Wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Alright, let's get back into it. Donald Trump is giving what he clearly thinks is the speech of his lifetime, and the whole world is watching, wondering if NATO is about to collapse or if we're heading toward another major conflict. If the United States tried to take Greenland by force, it would trigger responses from everyone: European allies, Canada, you name it. So here's Trump speaking at Davos. He says NATO exists for nothing except protecting Europe from the Soviet Union and now Russia, complaining that the US has paid for NATO for years and gotten nothing in return, not even a thank you card. He claims America paid 100% of NATO because other countries weren't paying their bills, and now, in his view, all the US is asking for in return is Greenland, including full title and ownership. According to him, you can't defend it on a lease. It's not legally defensible that way, and psychologically, who wants to defend a license agreement? So there it is. In Trump's mind, if we don't own Greenland, why even be there at all? And then it gets even better. He's talking about invading Greenland, but accidentally calls it Iceland instead. If you're going to invade a sovereign nation, can we at least get the names right? He goes on to say he's helping Europe and helping NATO, and that until the last few days when he told them about Iceland, they loved him. He claims they even called him daddy, saying, "He's our daddy, he's running it." According to Trump, he went from running everything to suddenly being a terrible human being. So now we've got Trump declaring himself the daddy of Iceland, except of course, he meant Greenland, and somewhere right now, Iceland is probably saying, wait a second, what did we do? So, is he our daddy now? I think we got the two mixed up. Can we at least get the nations right that you want to invade? I mean, this is just wild. Trump keeps talking about how they'd be there for us, but guess what? They're not there for us on Iceland. That much I can tell you. The stock market even took its first dip yesterday because of Iceland. Sorry, Greenland. Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. I mean, Greenland. But honestly, that dip is peanuts compared to how much the market has gone up overall, and we know it'll be fine. Still, somebody please take the keys away from old daddy at Davos. Then you've got Representative Ted Lieu stepping in and basically drawing a red line around Greenland, Iceland. Apparently, he lays it out clearly. You are allowed to disobey illegal orders. He explains that he served for years on active duty and another 21 in the reserves as a JAG, which means he was literally a military lawyer. According to him, there is absolutely no legal justification whatsoever to use military force against a NATO ally like Greenland. And if any military member, from generals down to enlisted troops, were to participate in an attack without congressional authorization, they would be following illegal orders. And then people are like, well, what does this guy know anyway? He's a JAG that's an actual lawyer in the military. That's simply a fact. No blank checks, no imperial freelancing. This is why figures like Mark Kelly are being threatened with court-martial and having their pensions taken away. It's a big deal. And even though he's clearly on the right side of history, standing up for the law comes with a cost. These are patriots. We have to remember that the people trying to uphold the law are the real patriots. Back to Trump in Switzerland, he makes yet another blunder. Clearly not understanding his audience. He says, after the war, which we won big without us, you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese. Easy there, bone spurs. If it weren't for us, you'd be speaking German. Buddy, German is the main language of Switzerland. Dankeschön for letting me know. There it is, folks, I'm a polyglot now. And then he doubles down. On thin ice, President Trump issues a firm warning. Basically, if you reject him, he's going to hold a grudge for the remaining 6 months he's alive. He says, we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else. We could have kept that land and we didn't. So they have a choice. Say yes and we'll be very appreciative. Or say no and we will remember. Look, on behalf of the rest of America, keep Greenland. We don't want your sheet of ice. We already have full access to the military bases. So Trump wanting Greenland or Iceland, or whatever he decides, is purely psychological. It's all ego, designed to feed his massive self-importance. It doesn't enhance US security at all. We're already fully engaged in NATO. In fact, his antics make things worse. Every NATO country, and really, the whole world, is now scrambling to strengthen their own defenses because the United States looks unreliable. Then Trump pivots to Governor Gavin Newsom, who's actually in the crowd. He gushes, we're going to help the people in California. We want no crime. I know Gavin's here. I used to get along so great with him when I was president. Gavin's a good guy. If he needed it, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd love to see we did help them a lot in Los Angeles. Love for Newsom aside, let's not forget context. Earlier in his term, Trump sent the National Guard in a show of force during a special election, essentially intimidating voters with federal tax dollars. He brags about reducing crime and deporting career criminals, presenting himself as a hero, but the subtext is clear. All this power is wielded theatrically. Newsom's response. Europeans see this as diplomacy with Trump. But Trump is like a T-Rex. You either mate with him or he devours you. One or the other. It's brutal, but not inaccurate. And hopefully soon he'll be just a fossil because, let's be honest, he's an old man. And with that, that's it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow morning, twice a day, every day, with all the updates, drama, and chaos you need. Huge thanks to all the new subscribers and everyone supporting the show at weird hours. I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.